Hold up, hold up. Yeah. Hold up, hey.
Hold on. Let me finish my point, you jerk.
You don't call your dad a jerk.
Well, you're being a jerk.
We just had one of our guests on, Jason Fry, talking about the Celtics are going to win their 19th championship. So what have you got to say about that?
Who this Jason Fry character is, he was talking about doing hard shit. Well, his prediction is bullshit. Okay. All right.
I have a feeling we're about to be joined by Sir George. He normally comes out of the black hole. Oh, there he is. Sir George. He is
it's
back.
You play football. What's up? You know,
well, I just want to say,
Hey, Jerry. Hey, Jerry. I just saw Jerry joke. Hey, Jerry. You said, well, this ain't your number one. You're number one, Jerry. Number one.
Oh, my God. We're moving on. We've killed the Cowboys. Matter of fact, get out. I'm tired of talking to you. Give me freaking JJ. Bring JJ on the show. Holy crap. Let's hear his opinion about this damn trade and why they made this decision. I think you're trying to cover your own ass right now and just not admit you were
ninth in the country.
I think you're just trying to cover your ass right now. And
you know what? I got a big ass, so
that's a lot of
cover. A lot of cover. It take a blanket, damn it.
More like a drape.
Did you just pull a drape? Is that so I can open it up when I need to go? You know,
hey, you're getting too deep into this.
Rivalries make sports great, but they got to be on the same level. And I'm sorry, Angel Reese ain't on the level of Caitlin Clark. Like, it's not Magic Bird.
If you don't want to commit to it, take your ass and be a PE all-star.
First off, you need to get your facts effing straight.
How do you like me now? What? You're the coach. Shut up, dude. All you haters, shut the hell up. Just shut the hell up. Whoa. I won 5 Super Bowls, damn it. How dare you call the Cowboys a shit team? Watch the Cowboys. It'll be fun, they said. Bloody fucking hell, it was no fun.
It was like riding a train around one of the Kardashians' asses, and you just disappear into this abyss of ice. Somehow he talked about buttholes that made me hungry for a PBJ sandwich. It's 35-7, and it's only 7 because you just scored. Shut up.
Are you telling me coaches like Coach Popovich does plays in spaghetti noodles?
The thing about Coach Popovich is he actually liked to use popcorn with super glue.
Popcorn with super glue?
Yeah, he would put super glue little magnets on the bottom, and then he would arrange them on the board, and he would like color them different colors, and that would signify the opponents. And yeah.
Are those the players?
I don't want to give away any industry secrets on that particular thing, but yeah, I'm just gonna say you gotta. Yeah, I don't really know what I'm saying no more.
And they're playing with sticks, and they're playing with a little puck all the time.
Expert analysis right there. They play with sticks and pucks.
Trying to grow the game, man. Global game.
These people, they don't give a damn.
Well, I don't really know, but it drives me nuts. You're almost going to laugh. I can see it. Almost fixing to lose it. It drives me nuts.
Oh, man.
Oh, you didn't know? Your ass better call somebody.
Well, hello, folks. It is Casey, the Remix Schedule. Happy July Eve, or July 4th Eve. And I'm riding solo tonight. The old man is off on vacay. He's celebrating the holiday weekend in style, doing it RV style. That's one of the things he loves to do. Such an old person thing. And that's why I have an RV too that I've been trying to sell forever. So if anyone out there wants a fifth wheel, please come talk to me. But hey, excited to get going. Not sure how long we're going to get it tonight. Probably about an hour and some change. It is a whole different world. But yeah, normally June and July, it's like a dead period. Unless you really do pay attention to sports, you got NBA free agency going crazy the first week for that. We're going to get into winners, losers, who's still available, where might they fit? Did the Knicks finally hire their coach? Holy crap. Got some drama in the sports world, got some gambling stuff, and some not so good stuff there. And always a hot topic, always a subject to talk about. Good old Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark, what? I saw this question today, so I want to address it here. Why still the hate? Why still the hate on Caitlin Clark by her fellow WNBA players? We're going to get into a little bit of that. And a subject we don't really talk about ever on this show, soccer. U.S. men's national team soccer. It's been entertaining in the Gold Cup. I'm not going to lie. I've caught a few. You also got Wimbledon going on. It's so early in Wimbledon. I'm not even getting into Wimbledon. But we are going to talk a little bit of soccer and names to look out for, and names that I think should be on the World Cup roster, even though they're missing a few pieces. There's some names on that team that need to be on that World Cup roster because they have made their name these last 2 to 3 weeks in the Gold Cup. We're going to go into some baseball standings. We said last week we're going to get into a little more baseball. Going to kind of see where the teams are sitting, where your team is sitting, where my team is sitting. Good old Rangers. I think they're a couple games under 500. But yes, happy 4th of July Eve once again. Let's get into it. NBA free agency. It is always a whirlwind. It started like the day after the finals ended. It almost felt like the day after our show. I think it was a few days after. But Kevin Durant gets sent to Houston. I think, and shit, we may have talked about this. I don't remember, but I'm not buying it. Kevin Durant to me is a team killer. There's only one place he has won. And that obviously was in Golden State for a year or two. And he goes to Brooklyn, it doesn't work out. Phoenix, it doesn't work out. They couldn't get it done in OKC, which I think he should have stayed in OKC. But yes, for those who don't know, that is my beautiful bride. Yes, we will talk a little bit of Astros. Happy 4th Eve. And my man Derek, he's getting it down, sharing out the show. Feel free, Derek, Dustin, anyone out there watching, hop on the show with me. It ain't easy if y'all get the kids to bed a little early. Hop on with me. But yeah, I'm not buying the Rockets as far as championship contender. I think they should have let that simmer a little bit more with Jalen Green and those young guys they gave up to get KD. KD is a great player. I know he is. He's one of the best scorers of all time. But he's not a leader. He's admitted he doesn't want to be a leader. He just wants to go out there and play basketball, which there's nothing wrong with that. But when you don't have when you don't have that established guy on your team and you're bringing him into a young situation, a young team, I don't like it. There's not another established guy there to really take care of business, unless I missed something in free agency today, which I don't think I did. It's KD. I mean, you do have Fred VanVleet there. To me, he's a little past being a star. You know, he had a great run with Toronto, but he's not a number 2 or number 3 guy to me anymore. There's a lot of talent on the Houston roster. I still think they're a top tier Western Conference team. I think they could make it to the Western Conference Finals, but that's not why you made this trade. You made this trade to win a championship. And I don't think what you gave up in getting in a 36, 37, 38-year-old Kevin Durant is the move to make. You know what I mean? So, Derek, he asked, and awesome, working on, I love the company. Is this KD's last run? It's got to be KD's last run, unless he wants to accept a lesser role, a non-starting role, kind of like, it depends if he wants to keep playing like Vince Carter did. You know, you're going to eventually have to take a smaller role. You know, even Russell Westbrook, who we're going to get into where he might be going, you know, has taken a lesser role when he was playing with Denver coming off the bench. So I already put that up there. So I'm not buying Houston. I'm going to save Dallas. Because I'm gonna save Dallas for a minute because we all know that's my squad, and I'm not sure they're not title contenders. And yes, I did say it, but we'll get into that. I do like what the Nuggets did. The Nuggets are starting to surround top 2, top 3 player in the league in Jokic. With some shooters. I always liked Michael Porter Jr. I liked his versatility, but I think he regressed in his career, and that's kind of unfortunate. So I think that's a good move to move off him and to surround good old Jokic with some shooters around him. Cheers, by the way. Enjoying the Sphere Ice, by the way. We got that little thing in our wedding gifts, and so I've been doing the Sphere Ice. We also got our whiskey of the week. We'll do that at the end of the show. Why do I keep saying we? It's just me tonight. It's just me right now. All right. By the way, I'm also going to talk a little. I talked about the first half of the honeymoon trip. I'm going to talk about the second half at the end of the show. The Paris experience. By the way, F Paris. In London, love Paris, love London. And yeah, we're going to get into that towards the end of the show. Hopefully y'all enjoy that. I'm sure if my beautiful wife is still watching, she'll probably chime in with some comments on that as well. But Lakers getting DeAndre Ayton. And I think they just agreed to bring back Jackson Hayes. So I think they've kind of solved their center issue problem. I still don't think they're a championship team. I just don't. You got your 2 best players are your 2 worst defenders on the floor. And LeBron James at going to be 41 years old, and Luka Doncic, you know, the rumor is he is getting in shape. He's taking his health and his food and his diet and his conditioning serious this offseason. We'll see how long that lasts because he's about to go play for the Slovenian national team and get back home around all that Slovenian delicious food. And I will say European food, very good, very good. But Lakers, I'm not buying them being title contenders either. I don't see it. Some people have told me, oh, it's your LeBron hate that's blinding you to how good the Lakers are going to be. I know I just don't buy it. You know, Austin Reeves to me is. He's a good 3, but I'm just not buying it. Not doing it. All right. Derek, my man, says, so you think something says that LeBron or the Lakers have come out and said anything about him not going anywhere? Well, that's a good question. I'm going to say this. LeBron is, I mean, since he's got there, he's held that franchise hostage. He kind of does it to every franchise he goes to. with the new ownership, I don't take anything off the table. I think the only thing that you would take off the table is Luka, them trading Luka. But I think LeBron, that's, I've read something on this that it would be very difficult to trade his contract since he opted into the $54 million, whatever he's going to make, which is astronomical. And we're also going to get into a new subject tonight, as well as NBA franchises, and kind of the sideway, maybe looking at it from a different angle. We should kind of look at what's going on in the NBA with sports franchises. So, but I don't know if it says anything about it. I think I wouldn't take it off the table though, but it is a difficult contract to move. You know, that's not going to be an easy one. Yes, sweetie, I did say Paris. I did not say. You said Paris itself was cool. Yeah, I mean, it was nice. It was nice. All right, someone who a team I did really like what they have done in NBA free agency is the Atlanta Hawks. Do I think they're a title contender? Hell no. But I think Porzingis is washed. I think he's still dealing with whatever mystery illness he's dealing with. And yeah, I think he's not a top 25 player in the league anymore. So he to me, Porzingis is just a role player. But I do like what they've done around Porzingis and Trae Young. I still don't think Trae Young's a franchise A guy, personally. I think he would be a great number 2 guy, but the problem is his game tries to tell you that he's a ball dominant guy. And when you have a ball dominant guy, and he's not, to me, a franchise guy, then it is what it is. Like you're eventually going to move him. And you know, I do like the Alexander Walker move. Luke Kennard, I can take it or leave it. I think it's a net positive to get Luke Kennard. So yeah, I do like what they've surrounded with. They've gotten some really good role players around Trae Young. And we'll see what they do. We know the East is not the strongest conference in the world. You know, I mean, the Pacers made it to the finals. Maybe I'm dogging the Pacers, or maybe I just still haven't recognized the Pacers. But there was also a lot of injuries. In the East the last 2 years and runs to NBA championships. I think that Boston run was probably one of the weakest runs until they ran into Dallas in the finals. And I think the Pacers getting to the finals was pretty weak as well. So, all right, let's talk about Dallas. Let's narrow down in Dallas. You know, obviously the offseason right here started with drafting Cooper Flag. You know, we talked about that last week. Taking Cooper Flag, we were live on the draft. You know, that was a no-brainer. We'll see where he is. I think that's a to be determined. What level is he going to play at when it comes to a rookie? But if, and this is all if, but if Kyrie comes back in February, March, and he's 80% of what he was, if Klay Thompson can stay status quo, if Anthony Davis can stay healthy and play at the level he did last year, which was a top 10 player in the league. I mean, 25 and 10, 25 and 11, one of the best. I think he was rated one of the best defensive big men in the league. Then you add that with Gafford and Lively and PJ Washington. Najee Marshall can score, come out of the bench. I'd love Max Christie. I actually would start Max Christie ahead of Klay Thompson. And I think I may have read Dinwiddie may have left them as, but I really think this is a top 5 roster in the West, if not top 3, depending on the level Cooper Flag is and when they get healthy. And I think that's a something you have to admit. That's something that you have to realize. It's a pretty damn good, 10 guys. And you throw in who was I don't even remember the guy from Philadelphia that they traded for. That was hurt most of the year. It don't matter. 11, you had 11, 12 onto this roster. It's not going to matter. But if this roster gets healthy, it is a damn good roster. All right. Now, Kyrie coming back at 33, 34 from a ACL, that's tough. That's a tough thing to do. Can Anthony Davis shed his nickname of street clothes? I don't know. Can Klay Thompson really find his stroke this season upcoming and be that guy? Can Blake Lively stay healthy? Can Gafford stay healthy? I do think last year was a bit of an anomaly when it comes to injuries with the Dallas Mavericks. They never have gone through that on that type of level. And sometimes an injury bug just hits a team. And, last year in the DFW market, it was the Texas Rangers. Everyone got hurt for the Rangers, and it took a toll. They didn't make the playoffs. But I will say something about the Mavs and good old Nico Harrison. When he was talking about fortune favors the bold in one of his post-draft interviews or something, I'm like, shut the fuck up, dude. Fortune favors the bold. Really, you lucked into the number one. You weren't bold with trading Luka. You were stupid. All right, and the universe, the NBA, rewarded you for being so stupid. We're not going to mess up one of our franchises that bad. Okay, that's what the NBA said. That's what the universe said. So karma came back around to correct your stupidity, Nico. You're not bold in that move. You were dumb in that move. Okay, bold would have been bringing in, I'll just say, Kevin Durant or Devin Booker, or making a play for Giannis, or actually shopping Luka Doncic and getting something back more than one effing first round pick. So, Nico, shut the hell up on your fortune favors the bold crap. But that team on the screen, I'm telling you, is a championship contender when healthy. We'll see if they're healthy. Time can tell on that. All right. Let's see. Who we? No. Let's talk about who's available. Who is still available? Chris Paul. Chris Paul is still out there. I actually think he could be a fit in Dallas. Because I do think Dinwiddie just left. I'm almost positive he left. I don't know. But Chris Paul's out there. I think he'd be a fit in Dallas because Kyrie is going to be out, 3/4 of the season. You get a leader out there. And then you move Chris Paul to the bench. He's your sixth man. He's your first guard off the bench. I do like that. So, all right, my man. Yep. So I did read that right. Dinwiddie went to Charlotte. So Chris Paul to Dallas makes even more sense to me personally. Then you got Russell Westbrook out is still in free agency. I don't know where he fits, honestly. I think going back to Denver would be the best thing for him, but he might be a Dallas fit too. I don't know if Dallas has the money. Really, all they got is a mid-level exception, I think, to sign anyone. Russell Westbrook, but he would fill that gap until Kyrie got back. I will give him that. Al Horford, the immortal Al Horford. Holy crap. Boston, he may go back to Boston on a lower deal. I know the Golden State Warriors interested. I think that'd be a smart move by the Warriors. He's just a consummate professional stretch five at this point. Does everything right, is in the right position. Not going to score like he did early in his career, obviously, but whoever gets him is a good idea. You still got Ben Simmons out there too. We're going to move on from that. Those are all your kind of your names you probably know, but restricted free agents, you got Cam Thomas, Josh Giddey, who I don't like, Jonathan Kuminga. We all know that drama in Golden State going on. Should we play him? Should not? my God, he came in and damn near saved your series when Steph Curry was out. I don't know why that man wouldn't be in your starting lineup. I think they match anything anyone offers him. You got Quentin Grimes, who Nico, your dumbass, traded away because he could fill that backup guard spot or that starting guard spot really good right now. I do like the Quentin Grimes, whoever picks him up. I really like to see him on a contender. I really would. You still got Malcolm Brogdon out there, Cameron Payne. The rest of these guys, you probably I barely know them. So, you do have Gary Payton II, Trey Lyles, D'Anthony Melton, Dante Exum, Maverick. They might bring him back. Markelle Fultz, Malik Beasley. But you're probably not going to be able to play Malik Beasley anytime soon because we're going to get into why he's in a little bit of trouble. Kyle Lowry, Patty Mills, Tristan Thompson, Taj Gibson, and these are all older players. Got Marvin Bagley III. I think Jackson Hayes just went back to the Lakers. And the rest of these guys, I mean, you got Doug McDermott. He's still in the league? Doug McDermott's still playing? Damn. The rest of these guys, Seth Curry, Jay Crowder. I mean, these guys are just coming in the game to shoot the ball a little bit. I'll tell you a team that I don't understand what the hell they're doing is the Milwaukee Bucks. I think they have been some of the biggest losers of free agency. First, you're like, oh, damn, they brought in Miles Turner. They lost, the big fella. Holy crap. My man keeping me right. You should just hop on StreamYard, hop on the show, big dog. Just hop on. But Lowry going back to Toronto retire, that makes sense. But the Milwaukee Bucks, they get Miles Turner, they let the big fella go. What's his name? The twin from Stanford. I'm losing my mind. It'll pop in or someone will comment. Brook Lopez is his name. They let him go. You get Miles Turner, you're like, all right, you're getting a younger version of Brook Lopez. That's solid. And then it's like, oh, shit. We got to let Dame go to sign you, Miles Turner. I don't know if that's a smart move. Now, I don't know if Damian Lillard is going to be Damian Lillard again. His game is a fast twitch game. I think he'll be able to shoot the rest of his career. I just don't know if he recovers like he did, like we would want him to. He's one of the guys I cheer for in the league. He's a good dude. He was loyal to Portland to a fault. And I love loyalty in sports. I cheer for guys like that. I know ultimately, guys out there, I think I saw some. I think they talked about last night on the Bearded Bros sports podcast on the network on who would you give a ring to. Damian Lillard is a guy I'd want to give a ring to, 100%. And so that was unfortunate. I just don't understand what the Bucks are doing. But I think, you let Dame rehab and you kind of, if someone doesn't sign him now, I think you bring him in a little later in the season, see how he looks, if he's in shape. And then he kind of, gets his feet under not being one of the main guys, maybe a sixth man, and then develops into the starting point guard for someone. So, but I know Giannis can't be happy. I know he can't be happy. There's no way he can be happy. So ultimately, So, all right, we're at 30 minutes, so we are going to play our sponsor, Easy Leadership. It's my dad's company. Selfless plug, but he working his tail off with Easy Leadership. It's really cool stuff for kids, relationships, business strategies, business productivity. He's really well versed in people. Is really what it comes down to, and that's what his business is about. So gonna play the.
Have you heard of the DISC communication tool? Yes, most people in business have. But there is a new tool out there that is tailored for leadership teams. It is called the DISC Work of Leaders and focuses on 3 main areas: vision, alignment, and execution. This amazing assessment is not just a game changer. It is a business strategy necessity if you want to create sustainability. Let's be honest, a lot of executives spend many hours in HR dealing with people issues, and that happens because of reactive leadership. If you are sitting in HR trying to figure out what happened after the fact, then you are not able to concentrate on running your department or business, and it steals your time. Email us or call. It's free to talk about it and learn how to become proactive in your leadership. Big or small, we have a plan to build on your strengths and an action plan for your challenges. Join Eddie Schedule, our CEO and founder, for a quick video on what a report does for you. Head over to our website and scroll down to see this amazing video of the DISC Work of Leaders tool. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to hearing from you.
All right, welcome back. Welcome back. All right, I hinted at this a couple times and appreciate the share. My boys from Recognized Game, they have a great basketball podcast, sports podcast, man. I love y'all's logo, by the way, too. Solid. But I hinted at this a couple times. There's some people in trouble in the sports world. A few weeks ago, it was, Tucker got suspended from the NFL for all his escapades. Unfortunately, when a name gets in trouble, it is newsworthy. So Malik Beasley and Ortiz from the Guardians, they are both getting inquired on gambling issues. I saw a highlight of Malik Beasley. It was a free throw missed. He grabs a free throw less than 4 seconds, sprints down and dunks so they can cover the spread. And they kind of point out in the video, like the panic on his face when the dude hits the free throw. Yeah, that looked a little sus. Malik. And the Ortiz thing, I'm not too up to date on that. I've only kind of read briefly about it with the Cleveland Guardians. Dumb name, by the way. Should just change it back to the Cleveland Indians. But man, this is what you do. My dad said that many times on the show, when you open sports up to gambling, you open yourself open to Pandora's box. And this is what you're going to get with it. You've seen, I think it was Calvin Ridley suspended for a year in the NFL. You've had multiple players, suspended in this. And that is what you get with it. Now, I know NBA, NFL, NHL, MLB, all these major sports, the money they're making off of it fails in the comparison to you get 1 or 2 guys in trouble with it. Now, if it was LeBron, do you think they pursue an investigation? I don't think so. They let Michael Jordan retire. That's the rumor because of his gambling issues. If it was, Steph Curry, do you think they inquire and suspend Steph Curry for gambling? I don't think so. I think it depends who you are and your cachet. And you treat your stars different. I believe in Jimmy Johnson's system. You treat your stars different than the last guy on the roster. A lot of coaches don't like that. Now when you're talking enforcement of rules, that's a little different. But, you give your better players a little more leash because they're your better players. And if those players work hard and do the right thing, most of the time, you're going to give them a little leeway. So Malik Beasley doesn't have that leeway. The Ortiz guy from Cleveland doesn't have that leeway. LeBron would have that leeway. Tom Brady would have that leeway. When you break it down like that. So gambling is becoming an issue. Ben McLemore, former Sacramento King, he just got convicted of one of the worst crimes I think there is. He's guilty of rape. Hopefully it didn't happen and it's not true for the girl's sake, but it sounds like it did. And that's just one of the most heinous things that can ever happen. So Ben McLemore, he's going away for a while. So you and Diddy can hang out, I guess. But all right, let's get off negativity here. Get off negativity. U.S. men's national team soccer, go! All right. See, I could announce soccer. I think I could. I just wait for a goal. So, holy crap. So, man, I started watching a little bit of the Gold Cup, and then I watched. I think I caught like the second half against not Costa Rica, Costa Costa Rica. I caught that whole game. Anyways, I wanted to talk about the Costa Rica game. Super entertaining game. Comes down to shootouts, drama. That boy Freeze in goal. He should be the goalie next year for the U.S. men's national team. That dude dove, with the exception of one, in the correct direction every penalty kick, and he saved 2 or 3 of them. And man, it just, I think he is your guy in goal. But man, it was entertaining. It was, first Costa or the USA goes up quick. Costa Rica, no, Costa Rica gets a penalty kick, and was it Costa Rica? Am I talking out my butt? Or was it Guatemala? It was Guatemala. I'm talking stupid. Not Costa Rica. Sorry, Costa Rica. It was Guatemala. So Guatemala, they get a penalty kick in the first 2 or 3 minutes. They score. Freeze gets his fingertips on it. Wasn't able to knock it outside the post. And then U.S. Comes back and scores. Am I losing my mind? I'm losing my mind. Guatemala was yesterday. I'm sucking at doing a sports podcast covering the men's soccer team. Because I swear I watched it. I'm positive. But anyways, the team they played on Sunday is they get a penalty kick, they come out, U.S. responds, and then in about the last 15 minutes of the match, they score, or the team they're playing, they score. So it was Costa Rica, by the way. It was Costa Rica. Knew I wasn't talking crazy. Yeah, Costa Rica comes out and scores on a penalty kick. They respond, and they end up going to penalty kicks, and Matt Freeze becomes a star. I'm going to tell you who I really like on this team and who needs to be on the team next for the World Cup next year in the United States. The man, Freeze is number 1. Number 2 is Tillman. The big fella, he has stood out. He jumps off your screen. Tillman needs to be on that roster next year. He needs to be starting. And Luna, the little dude who could have played for Mexico, who they're playing in the final on July 6th here in Houston at NRG Stadium. That's going to be a madhouse. It's going to be a lot of fun. But those 3 guys, and there are other ones that I think need to be on the team, because the talk about this team going into the Gold Cup was they're missing this guy, they're missing this guy, they're missing that guy, and it's like this team has rose to the occasion. They won their group stage like they should have, but they took out Costa Rica, and then they beat Guatemala, so. And now they're going for the final like they should be, like the United States should be doing. So it's really entertaining. This team is really entertaining. Luna is probably my new favorite player. Not sure I like the bleach blonde hair, but solid. I think he just has a creativity with the ball. All right. And not a lot of guys have that. He has a twitch about him. He sees things that other players don't see, I think, at times. So I think he really can be a huge piece of a World Cup run. Same thing with Tillman, and same thing with Freeze at goal. So I really like those guys. All right. WNBA, Caitlin Clark. What the heck, y'all, man? Caitlin Clark, I'm going to tell you this. Now, I still don't watch really any WNBA basketball. I'm just going to be honest. I don't. My dad watched his first game the other night. Maybe I'll get to it. And just being a boys' high school coach and just, I like seeing people play above the rim. And I just like seeing the best play at the top level. And then they're at the top of the women's level, but there's a whole nother level or two when it comes to the men's NBA game, and if you want to see fundamental basketball most of the time, yeah, I mean, women's basketball is more purely as a coach. You want to watch it for strategy and plays and systems, and that part of it is all good. But this case, since Caitlin Clark came in the league, man, people are these girls. I mean, it's straight up hazing. It's it's I'm not gonna say bullying. I just think it's hazing at the highest level in front of the world. And at a certain point, at a certain time, the hazing stops. You've earned your stripes. These girls ain't stopping. Like, they've developed a hate for Caitlin Clark across the league if you're not on her team. And I don't understand it. She's elevated the game. If you look at the screen here, merchandise sales up 501% for the league. All-star votes, the number of people of all-star voting up over 500%. Viewing is up 300+%. All-star game viewers was up 304%, 105%, 305%. Sellouts, they hardly ever sold out a game, and now it's up 242%, and overall attendance across the league is up 54%. So since she came in the league, she's elevated your league. She took your bumps and bruises. She didn't complain. She busted her ass. She's starting to get tired of it. So are her teammates. That's what you saw with Sophie Cunningham, my dad. We talked about that last week, and he talked about it 2 weeks ago. But Caitlin Clark, and I asked the boys from Recognized Game, because I forgot which one, and I apologize. One of them lives in Iowa and saw this happen. Starting with the Iowa Hawkeyes, and then Indiana is kind of like still their team in that area. Like, what is it about Caitlin Clark? Because you can't say it's a race thing, because you've had great white women players. You have Sabrina Nusku, you have Brianna Stewart, you have Paige Beckers, who just came out of UConn, Sue Bird, Diana Taurasi, Becky Hammond. You have all these great female players that are white, but they didn't captivate the U.S. like in the sports world like Caitlin Clark has. And they couldn't even. My man at Recognized Game couldn't even really answer the question of putting his finger on what is it that makes her special. It's just something different about her, and you have to admit it. And if you're in the league, accept it. Embrace it and use it to your advantage instead of always trying to knock her down a peg. Angel Reese wants to try to be the villain, even though she says she doesn't want to be a villain ultimately, and then she whines about things that happen or don't happen. And so, embrace Caitlin Clark if you're in the WNBA. Please do it, because ultimately, man, if she decides to leave or stop playing before the end of her prime, the league's got a problem. There's people in other leagues and other things been offering her a lot of money more than she's making in the WNBA. So don't mess it up. Don't mess it up. I mean, Jordan, there was just something different about Jordan. And there was something different about LeBron, as much as I don't want to admit that. There was something different about Steph Curry. and the faces of there's something different about Magic and Bird and Dr. J. There's just something different about the greats of every league embrace it, challenge them, play your ass off when you play them. Don't abuse them. Don't try to bully them. Don't because at a certain point, there's a great line: you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. So I don't understand the hazing. I don't understand why the women of the WNBA can't get it through their head. I don't know. All right, so go Tres Leches up in Indiana, but get over it. Let Caitlin Clark do her thing. Take it as a challenge. Beat her on the court the right way, and not just try to beat her on the court. And ultimately, keep elevating your league, because I'm telling you, it's the law of diminishing returns. I've been preaching that line since she came in the league. Eventually, the ride up the roller coaster has got to come back down when it comes to the WNBA. And if there's not about 2 to 3 or 4 more Caitlin Clarks, to be honest, that league's in trouble when you only have one star. And there's some players that are better than Caitlin Clark, without a doubt. Asia Wilson is better than Caitlin Clark, as a basketball player. But ultimately, you got to ride your stars, and there's no bigger star in the WNBA than Caitlin Clark, and we all know that. I mean, that's not a debate. I did think it was funny that her peers voted her the 9th best guard in the league, which is insane. So that's just the hate that you see in the league. I just think there's people who won't vote for her because she's Caitlin Clark. They just want to hate the name Caitlin Clark. It's envy, jealousy, instead of, just admit it and move on, so, man. All right. Got an interesting thing here I saw on Twitter. I saw a post that it's with the Dallas Cowboys, and we all know that the Cowboys, we steer towards the DFW market. They're trying to say prime Zeke. In 2016, Zeke was better than Emmitt Smith in his prime. Shut up, whoever posted that. No, he's not. Okay? Prime Zeke was not better than prime Emmitt. I'm sorry. It's just not true. You want to know why? Because prime Zeke, he didn't hit the numbers that prime Emmitt did. He didn't get in the end zone like prime Emmitt did. Don't give me that. That's BS. I'm going to ask that question next week when my pops is back, and see what he says, because, we all know he loves a good Zeke fest. But we'll see if his old eyes can see the truth. So, yeah, get off that crap. All right, let's take a look at our baseball standings. Probably should have printed these out. Let's start with the American League. You got Toronto and the New York Yankees top of that American League East, both at 48 and 38. And then you got Tampa Bay right behind them at 48 and 39. So a half game back. The East is really competitive. I'm a little surprised at Toronto and the Yankees, or not the Yankees doing well, but those in the baseball know told me I should not have been surprised by Toronto. But who everyone should have been surprised, because this team has been horrible forever, is the Detroit Tigers. The Detroit Tigers, 54 and 33. They 30 and 14 at home, 24 and 19 on the road. Detroit has turned their franchise around finally after being in just an extreme poop hole for a long time. The Cleveland Guardians are next best in the AL Central at, they're 12 and a half games back. Detroit is absolutely destroying the AL Central. The AL West, where my beloved Rangers are, where the hated Houston Astros are. Astros are running the division again. I said last year, Astros, it's over. You need to move on. The Astros have proven me wrong. They're 52 and 35. They got a 6.5 game lead on the Seattle Mariners. They're plus 48 in run differential. They're 32 and 14 at home. and 20-22, so about 500 on the road, which is what you want to be. You want to win 2 out of 3 at home and play 500 on the road. Seattle 6.5 back of them at 45-41, and the Rangers are 1 game under 500 at 43-44, 9 games back to the Houston Astros. Still plenty of time in the season. Haven't quite hit the All-Star game yet. So a lot of baseball to play. But it's looking like the Astros are saying we ain't done yet. So we'll see how that translates to the playoffs. National League East. My Philly bros up in Philly, our Philly show. I know they're loving life. They're 2 games up on the New York Mets, 51-36. By the way, their run differential is plus 52. So Philly's doing their thing. I'm wondering if they're starting to get the World Series parade getting ready in Philadelphia. They're followed by the New York Mets, 2 games back, and the rest of the AL East, and they don't matter. AL Central, the Cubs are at the top of that, 51-35, and I'm pretty surprised by the Cubs. I think they were pretty bad last year. They made a reclamation project here, 51-35, plus 108 run differential to this point in the season. So that's pretty damn good when you're outscoring your teams, your opponents by over 100 runs. But they're only 3 games up on the Brewers. Only 3 games up on the Brewers at 48-38, and 5 games up on the St. Louis Cardinals. St. Louis always seems to just have a winning team all the time. And the Reds are 3 games over 500. So this is probably one of the most competitive divisions in baseball, if not top, maybe the second, with 4 teams over 500. A lot of teams playing really good baseball there. And then out at the AL West, your Dodgers, Ohtani and Kershaw and those boys, they're running the AL West, or I'm sorry, NL West, as they tend to do always. They're at 55-32. And Clayton Kershaw, congratulations. He hit the 3,000 K club. I think there's only 20 pitchers that have done it. Incredible feat. Dallas boy here from Texas. Wish you would have came back to the Rangers at some point in your career. Maybe saved a little bit of that money from sales income, or not sales income tax. That's stupid. Just income tax. But he's going to finish his career as a Dodger legend. And incredible. They're having a really good season out there. Padres are 8.5 games back at 46-40. So Padres are playing plus baseball. But the Dodgers are just on another level. And then behind them is the San Francisco Giants, a half game back to the Padres at 46-41. Arizona Diamondbacks kind of taking a step back from their competitiveness. But man, let's the worst teams in the league. How about the Colorado Rockies at 20-67? Wow. The Colorado Rockies have been outscored by 223 runs. Wow. I that's what we said all during our honeymoon was wow, because that's how wow this is wow. Just that's how bad they are. Pittsburgh Pirates 38-58. Washington Nationals 36-50. The good old Athletics, soon to be Las Vegas, 36-53. The White Sox are absolutely horrible. Not as bad as those Rockies, but 28-58. And then you got the Baltimore. How the Baltimore Orioles have fallen off? Holy crap! I thought they had a lot of young talent in Baltimore. Wonder if they start moving some pieces and rebuilding there. 37-49. So that's your MLB update. Little tidbits on the NFL. Steelers extend the GM. Waller comes out of retirement to play with Miami. That's interesting. In a little trade there. The Mika Fitzpatrick for Jalen Ramsey trade. I don't think we had talked that happen after our show last week. I think that's a bad move by Pittsburgh. I know you get the tight end, and he was a Pro Bowler. I don't even know if you can really say Pro Bowler is an accomplishment anymore, because so many people make it, and And oh, I'm not gonna play, and then they just throw another guy in there. Minka Fitzpatrick, he's a special safety in the league, so I don't like that for Pittsburgh. You get Jalen Ramsey, end of his career, you get a decent tight end, but you had a 3-time All-Pro safety in Minka Fitzpatrick. I just think that's a good move by Miami, bad move by Pittsburgh, in my opinion. I'm hearing that I saw their TJ Watts on the market for the Pittsburgh. Like, is Pittsburgh just? I think they're about to go into a full rebuild. Really do. But if TJ Watt's on the market, if your team's got the assets, go get that man. The dude's a beast, but he probably wants to play for a winner, I would say. And yeah, that's all I got for the NFL. Randomness. Yeah, that's about all I got on random as well. All right. Well, the last part of the show, the honeymoon, the second part. Actually, no, we got our whiskey of the week. Good old whiskey of the week. This is 1835 bourbon. It is 90 proof. This is obviously it's 43 or 45% alcohol volume. Now, I don't know if it's true bourbon because you're not allowed to brew bourbon outside of Kentucky. So 1835 bourbon whiskey may be stretching the name there. I love the taste. But I just see it on the label right here. Distilled in Kentucky, bottled in Texas. So that's why they can't put bourbon on the label, because it is bottled in Louisville, Texas. So, they count themselves as a Texas whiskey or Texas bourbon. But all right, let's talk about Paris. Last week talked about Greece on the honeymoon trip. A lot of folks that watched the show were at the wedding. And we couldn't have asked for a better wedding weekend, seriously. But so the premise of hitting Paris and London was to check some things off the boxes. Before this trip, I'd never been to Europe, and I was excited about it. And we get to Paris, and as Linda posted earlier, it's the people. Matter of fact, I'll put it back up here. The people in Paris, the Parisians. The fact that you even call yourself Parisians, to me, is pretentious. But the Uber drivers wouldn't say a word to us. Anyway, they're just stupid. But let me tell you this. We went to the Eiffel Tower. Eiffel Tower, beautiful. Beautiful in itself. The scene is beautiful. You can go sit in the grass. We had some ice cream that was really good. We're sitting there. The only problem was we were interrupted every 25 fucking seconds by some person. They're walking around like in a circular pattern, hawking something. Do you want this, Eiffel Tower for €1? Or do you want, we got offered cold beer, super duper cold beer, wine, champagne, and we didn't want it all. Like, we're sitting there trying to enjoy the view, first time in Paris. Holy shit, it's the Eiffel Tower. This is awesome. No. Buy something every 20 seconds, walking up to us. Like, leave the people alone. I know y'all trying to hustle, but damn. All right. Then we go to the other side of the Eiffel Tower, take pictures with the Olympic sign from the Paris Olympics, and excuse me. And then it was just people, while we're waiting in line to take those pictures, it was just people walking around trying to get us to take fancier pictures, like with the red heart balloons and all that. And so it's like, yeah, give it a rest, y'all. Like, but they're out there hustling. But we go out to dinner, right? And we just got done at Eiffel Tower. You know, we could obviously tell that a restaurant didn't want us there because we were American or how we were dressed. But the biggest difference between like what we're used to, like the hostess would tell us if we're not in dress code in the States. It'd be like, hey, you know, we have a dress code here. You can't wear a cutoff shirt or a tank top or shorts. Cool. Noted. We'll make the change next time. That's not what they do. They just, with 5 open tables, like, we don't have an opening until 9:30. And we're looking around like, what? You got 5 open tables. And so we pretty much get kicked out of the restaurant for not knowing and basically being out of dress code in Paris. And then we go to another place. We sit down to eat, and the people just around us are like, I didn't notice it, but Linda did. She noticed it, like people pointing and talking about us and laughing, and it just was like, seriously, like what's the deal? And then we kind of realized, like, you know, oh, we're kind of not dressed up, or you know, exuberant amount of females there wearing red dresses to dinner. But we didn't know. We didn't know. But the Uber drivers didn't say a word to us. And then the stupidest, I will say, we went to the Palace of Versailles. The Palace of Versailles was gorgeous. A massive complex once you get outside the palace. And we only got to see like a third on the tour we took. Yeah, that was pretty amazing to see Palace of Versailles. I'm a history nerd, and so to see the opulence and just in books and certain studies I've done when I was in college, it was pretty awesome. So, and then after Palace of Versailles, we come back, and the French got something about feet. I gotta be honest. They got something about feet, and we're tired. We're on our way back on the train. I got my foot, my foot up on the plastic right next to Linda. She's sitting across from me, and this dude walks up to us. And he's got like a neon band. I thought he was trying to sell me something, and I'm like, nah, bro, I'm good. And then he slaps it on his bicep and he goes, "Did you have your foot on the seat? That's a €60 fine." And I'm like, "What?" Like, I don't know what that is, or I could have got that wristband, armband off of Amazon. I don't know who the hell you are. You know, you hear about scams and pickpocketers all the time in Paris and major cities in Europe. And this dude, you know, starts talking crazy, saying we owe him. At first, I thought he said €16, and no, he said €60, which is like 75 US. So this is not a small dollar amount for having my toe up on the thing. So, kind of shorten the story up a little bit. I'm pissed. Linda's pissed. She looks it up, finds out it's legit. So I pay it. He goes to hand me the receipt. I take the receipt just like that. All right. I take it aggressive because I'm pissed off. Because the dude wasn't nice about it. If he would have came up and been like, "Hey, man, you know, in France, we got this thing. You can't have your feet up. You know, I caught you, so we have a fine. I have to fine you." But there was nothing fucking posted in the train. There was no announcements. Don't put your feet on anything. Nothing. So it's like a got you, especially if you're a tourist. All right, especially if you're an American tourist. But so I take that receipt aggressive. He's like, "Do not take that receipt like that." And I'm gonna quote myself. And if you got children listening, I apologize. But I looked at him. I was like, "What the fuck you gonna do?" I was like, "Take your ass on. I'm done here." And he kind of he was looking at me. And I'm like, "Dude, I'm ready. I'm ready to fight. Like I'm done with this shit. I paid. I got the receipt. I signed for it. Back up." I also found out after doing some little research after we get back to the hotel, I could have requested a citation, and then it would have went up to like €350 fine. But how often am I in Paris? Like, I give a shit. So that experience was terrible in Paris. Then our hotel, and I only have myself to blame for the hotel in Paris. You get what you know. I guess you get what you pay for. I mean, it wasn't cheap, but it wasn't expensive. Yeah, this shit was no AC, smaller than the room we're in right now. We're about the same. Imagine this room with a bed, a bathroom, and one plug to plug in phones, fans, and you had to plug in. They had a rickety ass fan from 2003 that you had to choose. Either you plug in the fan or you charge your phones. That was our choices. So so we go buy a iPhone charger that matches the plug because my converter didn't match, and I choose to unplug the TV, charge our phones up there so we didn't lose the fan because it's 85 fucking degrees in the room in Paris because they don't have AC in the hotel. And I'm like, we're both sleeping butt naked. That's probably TMI, but you had to with the windows open, and you're like, what the hell's going on? Like this, how is this even acceptable? And so the room was shit. If it was more than 2 nights, I would have got another room. But yes, it was so hot. I agree. But I do agree, Linda. Paris is cool. I'll go back and stay outside of Paris and go check out the Louvre and stuff like that. But and some things I didn't get to see, like the Cathedral at Notre Dame and stuff. But the people in Paris, fuck y'all. I don't like y'all. You'd be speaking German if it wasn't for us. We're back-to-back World War champs, you motherfuckers. I don't like y'all at all in Paris. Like, y'all, screw y'all. I'm sorry. My rant is my rant. But y'all gave a very bad time. I was ready to fight the whole city. I really was. I can't stand it. I wore this shirt on the day we left just as a middle finger to y'all. FYI. So, matter of fact, y'all don't deserve to have red, white, and blue on y'all's flag. Y'all should take that shit off. Y'all should do something else. All right? I don't care. But, yeah, the bread was cool. The bread was cool. I agree with you, boo. The croissants were off the chain. Like I said, food was awesome. The sights in London were cool. Or I'm sorry, Paris were cool. But Paris, the people, the hospitality, the first place we ate had mice on the floor. Linda looks over and was all like, oh, there's ratatouille. And I'm like, did you just see a rat? And I'm like eating my meal. And she's like, what? So, yes. So Parisians, the people in Paris that have a pretentiousness about them, that have a rudeness, that have a I'm not going to say shit to you, even though I know you don't know the local customs. Fuck y'all. All right, that's what I got to say. F y'all. Don't come to the States. Damn near don't come to Texas because you might actually learn what manners. Matter of fact, do come to the state. You might learn some manners. Matter of fact, go to London because that's where we went and we had a damn blast in London. Let me tell you that. We took the train from Paris to London. London, you are my people. Britain, I love y'all. I'm just gonna say, I know we're about to celebrate, the day we said peace to Britain. All right, treason is the reason for the season. But London, man, I love London. It was probably even more hyped in my brain because of how bad our experience was in Paris. But we got to see Big Ben, which is actually called Elizabeth's Tower now, Westminster Abbey, Buckingham Palace, the Eye of London. We took a ride on. Ran into a choir group from Texas outside the Eye of London. But man, just the people, the hospitality, the food. Got to, we went to our first pub called the Old Bank of London or Old Bank of London or Old Bank London or something like that. And we're talking to him. The guy lets Linda try like 10, 12 different beers. And we're going to, Pops, we're going to see if I found Sir George or not here in a minute once I get done with the London story. But just the environment, like you walk out, we went to the Old Bank of London. I mentioned to the guy we're on our honeymoon, and he comes out with 4 drinks for us. You think they do that shit in Paris? No, they like take your honeymoon somewhere else, asshole. And I would have been like, fuck you, bitch. But anyways, uh, London, man, it brings us 4 drinks, gives us our dessert on the house. I mean, just a whole different experience in hospitality and great things and fun things, man. And just, I mean, it is the city. You do have a busyness about it, but people weren't overly rude. They would converse with you. They would say hello to you. And I will say in Paris, we followed the bonjour and merci and custom greetings and shit like that, and they were still rude to us. I know my merci and bonjour are crap, but at least I was trying. All right. So, like I said, Parisians, F you. But London, man, those 2 days were phenomenal. I would go back for a while. I'd love to go back and see more of England. I'd love to be there right now trying to get into Wimbledon. I found out it's one of the sporting events you can actually show up on the day without a ticket and still have a chance of getting in the queue. So pretty cool. But I was mentioning, did I find Sir George? Is this Sir George right here? Is this the man? My dad said he's a little too skinny, but I don't know. From that angle, his stomach's kind of pooching out. His hat's crooked like Sir George wears his on the show. I think because he was on duty, he was clean shaven. But that guy, I mean, he was serious about his job. I was like, Sir George. He would not acknowledge me. I'm like, it's me, your cousin from Texas. Well, actually, nephew. But see, I mean, the pop says he's too skinny. I don't know. I mean, this was at Buckingham. That is Sir George's post. He's posted at Buckingham, but maybe Sir George was over at Windsor or something like that. We were supposed to visit Windsor and Stonehenge on the day we trepped around London, but didn't end up going around and doing that tour. But always leave yourself something else to do. We went to the British Museum. One of the coolest things I saw was actually the Rosetta Stone in person. I'll tell y'all what Linda's talking about here in a second. But seeing the Rosetta Stone in person was incredible, and just what that's meant to human history. But it was funny, we got all these protests and people saying, stolen, and this is stolen, that's stolen. Man, the entire British history shit is stolen from across the planet. Every museum has shit stolen from everywhere. So get off that stolen shit. It's called you got conquered. So you're sorry about you. But the thing on the screen, you found your uncle though. So if anyone out there has done ancestry.com or done all that stuff, my family's done it. We traced our family on I think my grandmother's side all the way back to England to a family that protected the king. We're directly related to Longshanks, the King of England, who, if you watch Braveheart, he's the asshole King of England. But we're directly related to Isaac Newton as well. So we're walking around Westminster Abbey, and so many people are buried there, and it just, to me, the history of it is incredible. And one of the things I'll say, Linda said when we walked in, is she started crying. And it's just like I just felt the presence of, when I walk in there, I just felt the presence of God, and so that was pretty incredible. And and so we keep walking around, and and at the end there's the tomb of Isaac Newton, and we're just walking. I looked at Linda, I'm like, hey, it's my uncle. So that's what she's referencing though. I was like, and I said it like I've been looking for him, like my long lost uncle Isaac Newton. So but we are directly related to Isaac Newton and Longshanks, the former King of England, even though we don't really like to admit. When you watch Braveheart, you always view yourself on the Scots side, like freedom. Nah, we're like, no freedom, bitch. Even though the Scots won their freedom, so we didn't really work. Shout out to Robert Bruce, the 17th, for getting the job done there. But but yeah, London was incredible, guys. And you know, you ever get a chance, go try the fish and chips at least once. I'm not a fish person. I'm not a seafood person, but I had to try the fish and chips. It was delicious. Remember, chips are actually fries in England. So fish and chips was good. The sausage and mash was good. Um, and yeah, we just had a good time. And if after 5 o'clock in London, you start walking around, I'll tell you what, man, there's a crowd outside of every pub, not inside the pub. Now maybe at the bar ordering drinks, but they take it outside to sit and drink or stand and drink, man. And it's just a vibe there that I loved. Like I went up and talked to me and Linda went up and talked to a group of Londoners, and they were like, I had to ask them, like, you know, you all got these ropes right here. Like, is this a club or you got to have a card or, you know, something like that? They're like, nah, we all work down the street together. And yeah, if it's sunny and past 5 o'clock, we out here drinking. And I was like, I love it. It was freaking awesome. We probably should have stayed and just talked to them more and had a good old time. But I think we were a little tired and we had to catch our plane pretty early the next morning. But London, man, y'all are awesome. Shout out to the Brits. And you know, sorry about tomorrow, but it is what it is, right? But all right, that's gonna wrap it up, ladies and gentlemen. Road solo tonight. The old man from the RV park. Obviously, he was watching. I appreciate you watching, Pops. Derek thought he was gonna make it on tonight. Didn't look like he's going to. I appreciate the effort, though. Shout out to my beautiful wife commenting and reminding me of certain facts that I forget. That's what every great wife does, right? And shout out to the Recognized Game for commenting as well, for watching and sharing the show. You know, our ultimate goal is to grow this, and I have it pinned in my TikTok, and I think it's pinned on my X account, what this podcast ultimate goal is. And if you're watching out there, our ultimate goal is to grow this, to make an impact in our veteran community. I'm a vet. My dad's a vet. My little brother's a vet. My grandfather's a vet. My cousin's a vet. Three out of those four are Navy. So we knew what we were actually doing. My nephew in the Coast Guard right now. So he's kind of, you know, he's shallow water. You know, it is what it is. Love you, Jake. But yeah, our goal is to give back and hopefully we can start. And that starts with sponsorships and trying to get sponsors for the network and sponsors for the show. So, yeah, we really want to try to start giving back and making an impact in the veteran community when it comes to PTSD awareness. Linda's best friend works for PTSD America, I think it is. I probably got the name of that wrong, but the PTSD Foundation here in the Houston area, they support Camp Hope, which is huge into combat vets and PTSD recovery. And their goal, we just talked about it a few nights ago, their goal is to open Camp Faith, which is for female vets in their recovery, because it's a whole different realm, whole different approach for that. And so that's our ultimate goal, is to grow this and make an impact. So yeah, so I appreciate all those who watched and commented and shared and enjoyed the show. So appreciate y'all. Believe the old man should be back next week, so we'll go at it. Yeah, if you follow me on TikTok at Coach Schedule, on X at Coach Schedule, Pops on X is at Easy Eddie. YouTube is On Time Sports Talk. Facebook's the same thing. So follow us, share us. You know, I was gonna say on TikTok, right now you're kind of getting the fitness journey right now, trying to get the body back in shape after taking a little while off. So tomorrow will be day 9 of what I call the Reclamation Project, and it'll be day 3 for the wife. She's doing CrossFit with me, so super proud of her, and I'm glad I have a battle buddy in this process of suffering through CrossFit as I as I know what it can be. So, but we appreciate everyone out there watching, listening, sharing once again. And cheers, as always. And enjoy a little bit of whiskey before I'm off. My ring's got whiskey wood in it, by the way. So, all right. That's all I got. Cheers to you.